Well, ideally, what any theatre wants to achieve is continuing quality work, where you can go in and say, yeah, that's a good piece, and it says something meaningful to us. I mean, that's a requirement, I guess, an expectation for any theatre. The lyric, it'll have two spaces. Part of it, unfortunately, is governed by economic necessity. You've got a main space, you've got to make sure it's well filled. Sometimes you'll have to make pretty commercial decisions about what will fill that space. I mean, our audience, for whatever reason, I don't know whether it's to do with how things have been marketed or whether it's to do with just the nature of our audience has not always been easy to get in that theatre. We've struggled even with 300 seats to do decent business. So there's going to have to be a hard-headed kind of commercial take on the main space. But the advantage now, obviously, of having a second space is that you can do a lot more new work. And there should be, I think, a fair bit of risk-taking in terms of new work that is done. I think the Lyric should be looking very seriously about creating a space for a literary editor, or whatever the appropriate term is, to really try and make sure that new material is found and encouraged, and people are encouraged to develop that. And you should work on the principle that if it does well in the small space, then there should be serious consideration to bringing it back in the larger space at a later point, when you know that you've got somebody whose work is actually going to travel and make some waves.
I feel it's very important to have the new theatre in Belfast. I did my first professional performance in the Lyric Theatre, so it means a lot to me that the money's been invested into a new building. I'll be excited to see what new productions come up and hopefully be part of them in the future.
Well, when you grow up wanting to be an actor in Belfast, the first thing you think of, the first theatre you think of, is the Lyric. And I saw my first production there when I was in my teens, and I saw Stella McCusker in A Streetcar Named Desire. And from then on, I harboured an ambition to hopefully work there one day, and I was lucky enough to do so. I mean, I went off to Dublin for a few years, but then I was asked to come back and do a show at the Lyric, and then another one, and another one. And I love coming home to work. And the Lyric's always been, it's always been a building that is, it's got great history. But I think with this new building, it's an opportunity for it to blossom, to go on a new journey. It's exciting. There's going to be another space which will hopefully provide more work for all the actors in Belfast, and hopefully I'll get the opportunity to come and work here much more.
I'm really excited about seeing what the new building is going to be like. The first show I ever saw in my life was back in 1985 at the Lyric, a production of Peter Pan. And standing on the Lyric stage for the first time as a professional actor in a production of Observe the Sons of Ulster a good number of years ago are certainly two of the most special moments I have in my career. So I'm really excited about the new building, just to see what it's going to bring for local talent here,
There. Well, I think the whole project's extremely exciting for a start. Myself as an actor only got to perform in the Lyric twice, I think, and they were with amateur productions through Queen's. So what I want to see is new writing, lots of new work happening, theatre happening constantly. It didn't happen enough because there was only one space, and something new to go and see every week. As a producer of a theatre company myself, I want to see us being performing in the Lyric studio, and as an actor, hopefully lots of new jobs for local people.
I've worked at the West Yorkshire Playhouse and various places, and you see it's very much a community base. People are coming in during the day. It's very much part of the fibre of the city, so people get involved. It's there to be taken advantage of, and it's open. The doors are open.
What can we do to encourage young people who want to work in this business? I think especially, on the directorial front, because the directorial front has always been undersubscribed. I think, in my experience, in Belfast or in the North in general, and any kind of encouragement that could be given to them. Perhaps there should be a special mini-season or whatever that is given over to work directed by people who want to be directors, perhaps with somebody with a directing background mentoring in some way or coming in as mentors, which is kind of what happens with the NIS thing. I think that would be a very helpful contribution,